Hey guys, Tommy from the Muntz Family Homestead. Brought you back to work with me today. And if I could ever get these marbles out of my mouth sometimes in the morning, I could talk a lot better. But anyway, brought you to work with me. First thing out of the box this morning, foreman calls me, said, "Hey Tommy, got a truck that low water light's on." He said, "Can you check it for me?" I said, "Sure, be glad to." Go over and get the truck, bring it over. Sure enough, water light's on. Flip the hood back and look, and I'll show you what these guys are driving, mostly internationals here, 4300 series. This one actually happens to be a 2007 model. This being the surge tank, is where the water actually goes first. This being the full point, this being the low point. There is a sensor, a two-prong sensor here that they had some trouble with, to start with, but they've actually got these fixed now. But this line being the max line, this line being the low line, when it gets to this point and below, it will actually shut the engine down, because that does protect the engine from overheating and eventually locking up. But I'll show you what I'm going to do. This being the fill point here, I'm going to show you an adapter and a pressure testing kit that I use to just pressure test the cooling system. But we're going to fill it up with water first. I'm not going to use antifreeze because we don't want to get it on the ground and things like that wherever a leak may be. Antifreeze is very, very dangerous, especially to pets, dogs included. So what we've done is we filled this back up with water. I just didn't want to waste antifreeze and get it all over the ground and things like that. But there's an adapter that goes on here. But this is a pressure tester for a cooling system, and it actually goes on. There's two little notches there, and this will take and lock it in. And pressure test it up to about 10 psi or something like that. It's probably not going to need it. Now, let me take you guys here. See that? These are very, very common for breaking that seam right there, right in this area here. So let me get with the international distributor here and see if we can find one. Okay guys, got our part in from International for the new, they call this a module, which is a surge tank also, but it's got a leveling gauge in it. But we'll show you how to install it, and there is some changes on it, so I'll kind of go through that best I can. There are some places where I can't get the camera, like in front, right up here. There's some bolts behind there. I'll try to do the best I can with that though. Okay guys, up under the truck on the right hand side, in front of the right tire, this is a drain cock for the radiator. So we'll undo it and start the drain process for the cooling system. We won't have to drain it all, probably around 5 gallons or so, something like that. Okay guys, just for clarification too, I'm going to have and remove this grill. There's not much to it. There's 4 bolts at the bottom. They are T30 Torx. But there's Velcro behind here on the right side, and then also over here on the left side. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 clips that go up there. So just for clarification, I'm going to take this off. There is a return hose that comes from the surge tank over, comes down and goes back into the side of the radiator tank. So I'll show you that. Stubborn sometimes too. All right, let me take you in just a little bit, and I'll flip the hood back over. We'll do a little walk around. Like I said, there's 2 bolts that are underneath. Let me see if I can get you focused in here. One here for the bottom. And on the top, there's one here, one there, and then, like I said, just taking the grill out for clarification, this will flop back. There's 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here. This hose, I'll show you on the new tank. If you'll focus it right, Tommy, it sure would help a lot. This hose comes all the way across, goes behind the condenser, and you'll see goes right there. I'll show you the new hose on that. Oh, way to go. And I did say these had a new tank, or a new design, if you will. But they're a different color, they're a different pattern, so they won't break. Bottom hose there, top hose, and the phone rings again. There's the two front hose. There, I'll have to do some editing, trust me. And then this hose right there, it's already pre-made, pre-formed on there with a clamp, so you don't remove it. It comes with the tank. So let me get all that put back around and we'll take this tank off. All of these bolts and nuts are actually 13 millimeter. They do come with a new bag of bolts and nuts, so I advise to also use those new ones when you install the new tank. I always mark one hose. I know that tank's not going back on there, but I always mark it so I know which hose went on what side, or top or bottom. You may have a little water drip out. Just feed your hose through. There's 3 little slots behind the condenser that these will go in, so you can put them on there in a minute. By the way, my son is editing most of these. Well, let me back up. He's editing all of them because I know nothing about this stuff. My new camera is in, and he's gonna have to show me how to use it. I'm a diesel technician, not an IT guy. And there's our package of bolts and nuts. It doesn't matter where you start from. As long as you don't have anything left over, you're fine. Come on, guys, there's only 6 pieces. 2 nuts, 4 bolts. And these on the bottom can be a pain in the rear sometimes. You have to get a small little spike tool to line your holes up. And at the bottom of the old tank, there is a sensor that I told you about. And all you have to do is get a flathead screwdriver. Now, let me see if I can show you. Go right behind the plate there, or the nut, if you will. And see, it just pops right out. Bring it over to your new one. I'm still working on my videos, y'all, I promise, and I apologize. And there is a slot right there. Stick that right in there. Just push in. You see a little clip. Come on, Tommy, you are absolutely ludicrous. Nuts or something. Like I said, that's just got 2 prongs on it. It goes in, only goes one way. And clips in. So now we will start putting antifreeze in. And guys, when you are messing with, or using, I should say, antifreeze, any kind of oils, grease or anything like that, I do double glove. I have rubber gloves on here, then I have my mechanics gloves on there. But it protects you from things that are in these chemicals that can harm you, and you'll have to read up on it. I'm not going to go into details on it. Okay guys, there's the hose that runs from the surge tank over to the top of the radiator. It just goes in, and then there's the clamp right there that I told you don't lose because it's a spring clamp, and it'll go all over everywhere and you can't find it. So anyway, we're supposed to button this thing up, fire it up, and make sure there's no leaks. But anyway, be careful with these screws when you put them back in there. These have rubber grommets. They have a nut on the inside of them, but if you put them in too tight, they will spin out, and you'll have to go get some new ones. Don't ask me how I know. All right, guys, we'll fire this thing back up.